Good morning, guys and gals. This is going to be part 3 of this little video series that we're doing on propagating these fig cuttings. And the reason we're doing this is because I am trying to find the best method for propagating these figs. Anybody can root fig cuttings, but we want to root as close to, if not 100% success on these cuttings in our little propagation frame. And then not only that, but we want to take it to another level and keep those cuttings alive and growing the nice, healthy, rooted cuttings. So we've got some things to talk about right now. Let's dive in. All right, so there is the whole shot. All the figs that we've done so far this winter. And if you've been watching, you've seen that I started with these guys. Obviously, the leaves are bigger, the plants are a little bit bigger, but look at the roots. Some of them struggled, and I showed you this, I think in the last video or maybe the one before, but the roots struggled a little bit, and there are several reasons for that, and we're going to talk about it. But first, before we do anything else, I want you to take a look at these guys. This batch of figs is doing absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at these leaves. Look at these beautiful, beautiful leaves. We got our little Smith fig already fruiting and producing little figs on there, and our Martinica ramata. So excited about this one. Look at these beautiful leaves. First of all, I love those beautiful little green leaves, all this new growth wanting to come up, and then these massive roots that are just, I mean, they're just filling the cups, and all the new, just bright white roots in there that are wanting to start growing like crazy. I'm definitely going to have to get this guy up potted pretty soon. I love the look and the shape of that little fig right there. Pretty cool. So the biggest thing I want to say, and the difference between these two cuttings, this was the first batch, this was the second batch this winter. The biggest thing I want to say is this. They were both rooted pretty much the same way. These guys I left outside in the cool on the bottom heat for only about 3 weeks. However, I had light on these guys. So they started leafing out a little bit outside, which I didn't like. The other difference I did with these guys was I watered them a lot. When I brought them inside, I just soaked the cups. I didn't mean to do that on purpose, but I just watered them too much, thinking they're figs, they'll soak it up, they'll be fine, then I won't have to water them for a little while. It was a mistake. I overwatered them, some of the roots died back, and then they had to recover. That was the big mistake I did with these guys. These guys here, I have not overwatered. I have just kept the soil, the potting soil there, nice and damp, but not wet at all, not soggy. There's no water in the bottom of these totes here. The cups, as you can see, are almost, in some areas, on the drier side. And, you know, the top, look at the top there. Let's get this in the light. You can see that soil's kind of in the drier side right there. And I am being very, very careful about how much water I put on these guys. And you can tell they're all leafing out and they're all looking fantastic right now. And they're all doing very well. The roots all throughout here in this side are super healthy. None of them are dying back. The other thing I did with these guys that I didn't do with these guys is after a couple days of being under the light, almost immediately I fertilized, and I fertilized with some Miracle-Gro, which I usually use indoor through the winter to get them through, and then, you know, I put them outside and use a slow release fertilizer. But I fertilized these guys with Miracle-Gro, which that wasn't the problem. The problem was I think I shouldn't have fertilized them so soon, and I shouldn't have used so much fertilizer. And I don't know if part of the problem was because of the salts in the fertilizer, the osmotic pressure created problems with the roots that were so young and just starting to grow. But that's the difference I did with these guys versus these guys. These got watered way too much, way too soon. They had lights on them while they were trying to root for most of that time. These guys got watered way less. I didn't soak them, and they've had no fertilizer yet. And today we are January 16th, so it's been 8 days since that last video, and I've done hardly nothing to these guys. The only thing I've done with these guys on this side right here, I watered them once when I first brought them in, but it was a light watering, and I showed you that. The only other thing I've done is I've been just spritzing the tops of them. I've been going down in there and just wetting the top of the cups like this every day or so. Now you might think that's getting a little excessive, but you know, we do what we got to do to keep these things alive. Now, having shown you guys all of that and how well these guys, I mean, look, I can't get enough of this. Look at how beautiful that is. Just starting to leaf out. All those buds are just exploding with growth. Just coming out and growing, just awesome. And the roots are doing equally as well. I love how these guys are looking. I love all the beautiful growth we're getting here. And like I said, here, we'll pull up another one. The roots are doing fantastic. Now this one isn't rooted out quite as much as this big fat guy, but you can see they're very healthy, they're very viable, and doing very well. There's just no problems at all there, and this is going to make another beautiful Martinenca ramata. Now that I've showed you that, and I've told you exactly what I've been doing with all these guys, I want to show you something else that's really cool, that's kind of, you know, it's teaching me a lot here on what's working and what's not working, and hopefully it's teaching you guys something. But here it is. This variety right here, I think I showed this in the last video. I don't know if I did or not, but these guys right here, I'll go over it real quick. This was a Smith fig. This is an Ischia Black. These guys here were an experiment. After I took all of these cuttings, and there's the Ischia Black right there. There's the Smith fig right down in there. After I took all these cuttings, I had those two left over. They're in the same group, same timeline as these guys. They were taken the same time and stuck the same time. However, with these two cuttings, I tried them in this peat pod method. I put them right down in there. I used some rooting hormone. This is the Ischia Black. I put them down in there, and I put them directly in here with these figs. These all went outside. These right here went in with these guys immediately in the warm house, under the lights, and there's what you get. Now these guys, this one, this Smith fig, rooted out. You can see it's got roots. It did real well, but it's just got a little bud still. Just kind of hanging out there, not really doing much of anything. This one right here has got a little tiny bit of green growth. It wants to come out, it wants to grow. That little leaf is wanting to come out, but I don't see any roots yet. There's no roots coming out of that guy. And in comparison, now it's the same batch, same cuttings as these right here. But that's what we've got. Oh, and I did water and fertilize these guys. I didn't water them as much because they were still trying to root. They were younger than these. But I did start fertilizing them a little bit. I think one time I fertilized them a little. And you can see all that green algae growth going on down in there. And that's because of the fertilizer. But there's I just want to show you that because it amazes me. Now there's those guys right there. Ischia Black and Smith. Here, let's pull some of these out. Here is the same Smith, same exact tree. I took this off of my Smith fig outside. There is the same Smith. There's the roots. Let's get this under the light. There's the roots. Tons of roots, and they're all super healthy and just massive. Beautiful top green growth. Beautiful green growth. Hasn't been fertilized yet. I mean, it got little figs on it, looking fantastic. And that's in comparison. Let's set this over here. I want to really show you guys this. So this guy right here, this is the other Smith. Just so you can see, I'll turn it around, show you that little label. I've got the Smith fig label in there. There it is. There's the comparison. Here's the roots on this guy. I probably need to pot it up to another pot. They're kind of hanging out there, and when roots hit air, they start air pruning, and so that's part of the problem. But I'm not saying that one method is better than the other. I'm just saying this is what has happened. This is what we've got so far. This method worked fantastic, and this little fig started growing roots very quickly, and it did very well. It even got a little leaf growing on there that eventually fell off. I think I overwatered this guy. But it started out under the lights in here, in the warmth. Look at the difference. Same exact fig tree. I took these off the same exact fig tree, and look at the difference. And you know, you could say, well, some fig cuttings may not root as well as others, but I'm going to go further and show you more. I mean, first of all, just look at this. They're all doing just about equally as well. Some of them are a little behind, haven't completely leafed out yet, but you know, different varieties do different things, but they're all about the same in this batch here. Same fig tree though, different techniques, different methods, different warm or cool environments, bottom heat here, no bottom heat here, too much water here, a little bit of fertilizer early on here. That's what you get. This was the other method, and that's what you get. Now, I'm going to put these guys back. Let's put this back over here. This nice little home. We're going to see what he does. We're going to put this one back here in this nice little home, and we're definitely going to keep an eye on that. And then put this one back. This is another Martinique Ramada. So now, we've seen that comparison. Let's look at the Ischia Black. This is what the other thing I want to show you. So, like I was saying, people may say different fig cuttings on one tree may root differently, and that's true. However, you can see I got the same results. Here's the Ischia Black. Never had any roots coming through this guy. It spent a lot of time indoors, all of its time indoors. Same group of cuttings. I bought these cuttings online. Same batch of cuttings, same everything. I stuck this in the peat pod inside the house right away. No bottom heat in a 65 to 70 degree house under lights immediately. And that's what I've got right there. One little tiny leaf. No roots yet that I can see. And here's the exact same cuttings, Ischia Black. And there they are. All four of them. 4 to 1. So it's not just the variability in cuttings, that one cutting just didn't happen to root as well. All four of these, with the method I did the second time around, did this right here. All four of them versus that one right there. Once again, probably, I actually babied these guys on the water, so I don't think they got too much water, but I fertilized one time, I believe, and that's what I got. But this was indoors. This was, you know, in a warmer environment under the lights right away. That's what I've got. I think there's something to be said for, you know, life cycles of plants and needing that cooler environment and that slower wake-up process and getting those roots going before the top growth is going. But there's the results. And now you can look at the roots. No roots on that guy. Look at that. Look at that. Tons of roots spilling through there. Tons of roots all the way around the cup. Tons of roots. And they say these guys root a little slower. I don't know. This is a new variety to me. Lots of roots all through there. Roots on the backside there. Healthy looking cutting. This one's a little behind this guy. It's just a little slower. A little slower to do its thing. Doing very well though. This guy. Lots of roots. Doing well. Same back here. Lots of roots all throughout that cup. Doing real well. There it is, guys. There it is. I mean, I just keep documenting this as we go because I want to come up with the best rooting methods possible for rooting these guys. Anybody can root a fig. I want to come up with the best method for rooting close to 100% of my fig cuttings and then growing them into the most healthy plants as soon as possible with, you know, a reliable method that will produce the most healthy, beautiful figs close to 100%. There it is. There's what we did there, and there's what we did there. And I showed you the other two little guys, the little side experiments I did. You be the judge for yourself. I've got a lot of fig videos out there, a lot of experiments on what I've done. I've kind of been working on this method I've been doing for a while, and I don't know, there it is. The results speak for themselves. I know I said this last year, but I'm narrowing it in. This is the method I'm going with for now, till I find something better. This is what I'm going to stick with, and I'm going to keep working on perfecting this method because it just flat works.